The time is now. It's back to the rhyme. It's like, wow, he's back to the rhyme. I'm in the booth straight dropping dimes. Clark Kent daily playing at the Metropolis Times. I write these raps while I'm under the gun. I see you back to get you some. A little bit of this and a little bit of that. Pure, raw, uncut, rap. Back to the rhymes. Now is the time. Time to unwind because it's back to the rhymes. Back to the rhymes. Now is the time. Time to unwind because it's back to the rhymes. All right. Wish I could say I'm off beat. It is what it is. And I'm with you at 11 at night, which means what? Busy. Let's go through the list. YouTube channel. Okay. Did talk to someone on my route, promoted the channel. That was good. I think we might have got some traffic there. I had an idea. I've got Alex, who I talked about. He's my neighbor at work in terms of where we prepare our mail, and I believe he can compose. So we got some things we can do there because he can play piano. In addition, he's a huge enthusiast and collector of 45s, which I am as well, but it sounds like he's got me beat by quite a bit, which is great. I like that. He's a couple of years older than me, so his time range is about the same as mine, but he told me he sent an email 95.7 saying what I've been saying to myself, which is why I really don't listen to it, is because it's the same 80s songs. 80s, it's 10 years long, and they say a lot of times they'll play songs outside the 80s. So he said, can you please play some other things except your set rotation? No response. So I am going to talk to him tomorrow, hopefully tomorrow, about, I had the ideas, why not do something and just set the goals real low, because it's so hard to get through these, and I will add it to this list, but I'm gonna have to get something else knocked out. But I want to call it the spirit of the 80s, because I don't want to just play 80s songs, because as I mentioned, there's some country songs, a lot of them that embody the spirit of the 80s for the things I like about 80s music, and just love songs in general, typically slower songs, some upbeat songs, but there's a certain type of sound, right, that's still around if you know where to look. And he was saying, so my idea was, let's break out our 45s and just go back and forth. I have I guess it's a mixer, 2 channels. So if we could both hook in, I don't know if we could do it with the record player, because with the record player you might need a ground. I don't think mine needs a ground, but anyway, with the receiver and all that, it might be possible. A lot of these things have to do with how heavy is the lift, and availability, desire, difficulty, degree of difficulty, but excitement once we can do it. So if we were to go for 30 minutes, okay, Alex, you go, then I go, you go, I go for 30 minutes, we might be able to do about 4 minutes each, maybe 2, 3, 6, 7 songs possibly, back and forth. And just the idea would be, because he listens to 95.7 enough to know what they're playing all the time. I don't. I could listen to it for a short period and know what they're playing. And he also mentioned he listens to the Casey Kasem Countdown on Sunday, which I was doing for a while. I kind of either forgot, or I think they took it out or something. Maybe it's because of holiday music, whatever. But I got on this country one. I might go back to the top 20, because once the country one ends, I could do that one. But how cool is that? Because the whole point is, okay, if 95.7 is not going to play it, well, why don't we play some of them, and just go, and just play songs that we don't, it'd be fun. it'd be great. There's so many good songs, and then like I said, I'd call it the spirit of the '80s because I would like to throw in, maybe a new country song or an older one, whatever that would fit. Of course, there's some songs that maybe they're in the early '90s. They could have been in the whatever, sometime in the '70s, maybe possibly '60s, probably not '50s, but some, it just depends what we have in mind. But I like the idea of spirit of the '80s being, happy, fun, that kind of stuff. Because I think people think of the '90s music as kind of grunge, which is dark, and then '70s is like kind of drugs or whatever. No, I'm not saying there wasn't drugs in the '80s, but if it was uppers, not downers. Okay, so let's say that would be for the YouTube channel. All right, and it would get its own category at some point. The other thing that would get its own categories that I guess I came up with the idea was last week. It's been a couple weeks now. The Tarps and Tents tour. So that's another thing. That's another. Oh man, I talked to my coworker Mark, who does DJing, and I said, well, "Is it possible to do like a park?" And he said, "If you need power. Generators are loud, but I'm thinking maybe." A small generator and a super, super, super long extension cord to be away from the noise. I don't know. Well, that would be probably a tough one, but not impossible. I don't think it would be pretty involved, but I like the idea just for publicity and things like that. So Trump's Gonna Thump. I did tell a coworker of mine about that song, and I think she checked it out, but not sure that she's a fan of President Trump. But she refers to me as Mr. Hip Hop. So I'm gonna have a nickname we can add that to the nicknames. I think it's good to have a number of nicknames, right? So you can throw them in your songs. All right, Bed of Bread, Volume 13. Sorry, Aaron, I thought I might see you yesterday, but let me report what I did do this week. I put an hour towards Trump's Gonna Thump, CD Baby. I uploaded the song, so thank you, Dale. That was successful. The problem is the picture disappeared. It can only hold the content for 21 days. They have too much going on. It can't hold. So my picture disappeared. In addition, it's going to be $50 to do that, which is I'm already underwater on the music right now, but I have no choice. I've come too far. It's got to happen. So going to be down another $50. Pushing for that sale yesterday. Spent a good amount of time. Just couldn't pull the trigger. She couldn't pull the trigger. Couldn't take the risk, the $10 risk, but wanted to check it out. In addition, I spent another half of the hour, let's say, working on. It's not. I guess the website. What category? What number is that? I guess you could. I asked Giorgio, who's he asked me to add him as maybe a domain manager or something, and I successfully did it. See, this was so frustrating. He asked me to do it for GoodyearProductions.com. Okay. So I go on their thing. It's called Namecheap. All right, great. Boom, boom. It's working. Got it. Yay. It's going so good. Everything's good. All right, well, let's do the one he asked about, which I hadn't thought about. Oh, Goodyear Productions. Oh, now we need to do a security so-and-so. Oh, we need to have you chat with. That was a whole hour. I got absolutely nothing done. So frustrating. I mean, this is not creativity. You talk about, number 6 value involves with the creative end of the business and the maintenance or any business. How much time is the visionary spending on the maintenance management aspect of the business. If it's 100%, which was, I want to at least put an hour into this music a week, short of doing this. If it's 100% on just getting the stuff going and not, I mean, this isn't, I choose to just do a report, but it's not stressful for me to talk about it. And I enjoy doing an update and just kind of sharing it. It's nice for me to have on the record. But this stuff's painful and frustrating, man. I cannot tell you how frustrating it is. So frustrating. I'm the last guy that wants to do it. You might be the second to last. I don't know. We could have a competition. I don't want to do any of it, but it doesn't move forward without me doing it. So I do it. So frustrating. So I'll hit it again. I got a week off next week. And the following weekend after that, related to Bellevue Ballers, my schedule's all messed up. I'm gonna chop that up a little bit. That's fine. So that's the update. Nothing happened. Nothing. I couldn't check off anything. So it's very frustrating. I mean, the success was I got that video uploaded. It worked 100%. And I believe I could probably get that picture put up there because I do have it saved. I couldn't tell which one. That could go quick and then pay the money and then send it out to these digital platforms. And then we could see, because I think when I put my album out, there was, and if I go back in the archives, you could see streams over a period. So that was kind of fun. It's fun to look back. I think that's completely stopped. To see what songs were played the most from the album. Didn't make any money, but maybe 30 cents. I need to get another $49+ to get paid. Rules of engagement, no report there. You'll be glorified. Like I said, talk to Alex. This Bellevue Ballers, it's frustrating. I've got a week. I better get some stuff done. I mean, I'm sometimes I think I'm gonna collapse of fatigue. Bellevue Ballers is building a time machine. Okay, I'm not gonna get into details. It's building a time machine. To me, it's a race against the clock. God has kept me going. I mean, I get up. I choose to do it. But I know there's people who work a lot and have a lot of stress and who actually things happen to them, and God has blessed me with health to allow me to do it because I mean, I just can't take my foot off the gas, and I don't work fast because I can't because I'll just die. I just work steady, steady. So and that's all I can do, and keep working on these things, and hopefully, God willing, make some progress to where if I get off the overtime list at my work, that helps big time. I work today until 7 something. That's nuts. Should not have happened, but at my work, the way the staffing is, that could be like that. So it affects everything. It's more money. All right. So we talked about 6 Bellevue Ballers a little bit. 7, my Reformation music video, no progress. And now music, no progress. School Us album sales. Like I said, I asked for the sale on this. Didn't get the sale, but asked to borrow it. Can't borrow it. Someone doesn't want to take the risk. I just direct them to check it out online, and I hand out the card. Like I said, Giorgio got back to me. I thank you for the communication, and I was close, but it did not happen. We can get that, and then because what I can do is, oh, you don't want to pay for the CD. Here's my business card. Go to the website and I'll take because I've got it just the two different YouTube channels. It's all going to be there and have at it. Now I know some people want actual music and they see this and that's not going to be what they want, but oh well, buy the CD. And now back to the rhyme. Before I get back to the rhyme, politics, uh, current events. So I guess it's kind of on my mind. My coworker said, what are you Trumpers planning?" It's as if it's some, um, you know, huge block of people doing. I don't know what. I heard Don Jr. talking, and what was he talking about? He was talking about what you should be talking about is you got the midterm elections. You have it seems to me, from what I can tell, he might be spearheading the. I don't know if Dad's chilling. He deserves a break for sure. But spearheading because he's the number two draw I've heard at these rallies. So what needs to happen is what's bending to happen is it's fine to vote for a Republican rhino, but it's really not getting it done. Like this Georgia woman turns out she was, I guess, the wealthiest member of Congress or the Senate or whatever. Totally, there's no backbone, there's no guts for most of these politicians. Sometimes you'll hear that they'll go in like that and then they'll want to go, want to get along and um, they get taken down by the swamp essentially. And which really it's okay. So if you have term limits, or people limit themselves. I mean, this isn't an overnight process. I mean, to have people that with a backbone to get into this, into politics, and it takes a lot of work, a lot of planning. I would be very happy to be much more involved, and I don't have the time to. With my coworker was like, good, he doesn't want me involved. Well, I guess maybe he's probably got more time. But I don't know how involved he is. Probably not. Most people don't even know what a PCO is. Back to the rhymes. All right. Surreal, it's called. So here we go. I'm living in an insane asylum, at the very least, so it seems. Surrounded by perpetual nightmare. That's why I cling tight to my dreams. Not want to traffic in conjecture, not want to speak out of turn at the lectern. So sure are we that this time you'll be right. That this time you'll be right. Your past mispredictions are all out of sight. Y'all lost not a wink of sleep last night because your checks kept cashing. What was I going to say there? I know what I'm talking about here. It's probably good to put in a song because I get so bothered by these arrogant prognosticators. Maybe I'll put that in there. All right, let's just put it in there. Your past mispredictions are all out of sight. Y'all lost not a wink of sleep last night. Your checks kept cashing. On Trump and his ilk kept bashing. I don't know if I'll say that, but it is what it is. And I listen to Rush. I pray for his health. The reason is a lot of it is he's got game, and he's in the middle of. I mean, he's the number one show, and he's close with Trump. As you know, I mean, he doesn't hang. He's not a socialize. Trying to socialize with him, but he says he understands it better than anybody else in media, and I don't think that could be argued with. But I do listen to what he's talking about. So on Trump and his ilk keep bashing, because your checks kept cashing. Because your checks kept cashing. Trump and his ilk kept bashing. Come off. You come off as a pro's pro, old fashioned. I see past. I see past all the pseudo seriousness. Your act I don't miss. Your act I don't miss. Your act I don't miss. Your arrogance I dismiss. Your act I don't miss. Your arrogance I dismiss. So I focus on bliss on high. That's why I have surreal in my life. I always like there's a worship song that I will follow hard after you. Uh, mm, this world is empty, pale and cold. Need to know you, my Lord. I will follow hard after you. Such a good song. That's why I have surreal in my life to allow me to keep perspective, to keep perspective. Mm, work at what's right. Yeah, so the scripture I always gotta stay focused on it because everything. Keeps anybody from being frustrated with anybody. I'm gonna get it ready because I might just put it for the end of it. If it's a short hook, I looked at it the other day. Let's do it again. So, because if you're Jesus, you're on the cross. You've been, you know, I mean, it's kind of like one injustice after another. Which, if you look at this stuff, the, the election and all that, it's just like one injustice after another. So, as a believer, you just get conditioned to injustice, and you know this world is not your home. Thank God. 'Cause if this world was it, I don't know, that'd be hard. There's 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 certainly got to be more on the other side, and God says absolutely there is. You got a room for us, got a room for me, got a room for you, right? So, oh man, this is going as fast as I thought. Okay, so I thought so. Okay. No, it's not in this. Or maybe it's in. I guess it's in Luke. It's in Luke. All right. Such a, yeah, here. And I was reading the whole part, and I got to ask the underground Bible scholar about some of this. None of this was making sense. And when you get to the account of the crucifixion, there's a part in Luke. I'll just say Luke 20, 3:28 through 31. I'd like to have a study on that. But in Luke 23:34, Jesus said, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. It's kind of like in How to Win Friends and Influence People. You say, if I were in that person's shoes, I would do the exact same thing. And this is grace. This keeps me free from judgment and let God do that. I don't know. There's got to be a area where you can point out people's because you gotta speak truth to power, right? But in the end, that's what we gotta say to allow me to have perspective and work at what's right. Man, I'm around time, couldn't even finish the hook, but I explained it, and I'll make it happen when we reconvene next time when I get back to the rhymes.